Disclosure. We see this with the film dropping on June 12th, the opening weekend of the movie Disclosure by Steven Spielberg. Now, Steven Spielberg has been an asset of three-letter agencies for quite some time. This has been a known thing, and a lot of the CIA's efforts actually go into controlling Hollywood and controlling the narrative. Supplanting these ideas within the populace's mind is very important to have a complicit and a docile human populace who understands the things that are going to be implanted into the subconscious before they are actually displayed and told to the public. I go into it in depth in this video where I discuss how one of the main tools of the Epstein class is putting ideas and thoughts within people's subconscious actually makes them more prone to accepting these ideas even when they completely contradict one's own set of beliefs. Because one of the things Steven Spielberg actually says in relation to his film Disclosure is it was going to make people quote-unquote question everything that they know about themselves, and particularly he says this in reference to Christianity. In fact, there's one scene in Disclosure that I've been told is extremely blasphemous to Christians and is like downright offensive. And in the film, the aliens are able to overpower the Holy Spirit and completely possess somebody. In fact, in this particular scene...
Now, remember what I said about we've got Damien Eccles, Jason Breshears, all these people on YouTube that just showed up on the scene. There's a lot more other than him. Pushing these magic systems that have to do with John Dee, the Enochian magic, the Yahweh magic. What is this? This Lord of Hosts. What is a host? A host is somebody that can be possessed by a spirit. And when you're a Christian and you're in a church and you're like, you open yourself and speak out loud that you're giving permission to any spirit, you don't know what. When you're saying Holy Spirit, you're not speaking the Greek words. You're not understanding. You're just saying, hey, anything, come on in. It's like a gateway for entities. Now, look at this new movie that came out, The Huntrix for kids. This is what was going on in that movie. They were showing you in these kids' movies that they're harvesting energy. They're doing rituals with all the movies and shows. They're making way for people to be possessed. And what is at the forefront of all this? What is the root of all this? In a very weird way, it's Christianity. All our systems, the monarchy, all these systems, everything that colonized was Christian. All Freemasonry is Christian. All these weird sects of Christianity, Mormonism, I just shared a bunch of videos of my friends talking about this. Think about it. They want the masses also. First, they're doing it with the drugs and the music and the, this whole scene to get you wide open, to harvest your energy and your magic, to have you wide open for these entities to come through you. Yahweh wants child sacrifice, as hard as that is for people to accept. They don't want Christians to look at these magic books. They have them afraid because when you go look at all this weird magic, it all has to do with their gods. Gods, not just one god. Okay, Elohim. And if you know anything about what Jonathan Kleck, I have seen with my own eyes the things that Jonathan Kleck are saying are true. But the element he is missing is that Jesus is used as part of these entities. It's not a good thing. It's not something to give yourself to. This Yahweh thing. And all of this connects. And everything I share and post is all connected in a weird way. And you really got to guard yourself and watch yourself in this world and understand it's all magic, and it's all magic being used against you. And they make it sound so, fluffy and sweet, and they use the concerts. And think of the Grateful Dead. I was really big into the Grateful Dead and hung around a lot of the old heads. It's very Christian. A lot of their songs hint at very very kind of Christian in a weird way. So, I mean, I could go on about this all day, but I've been thinking about it ever since I saw Damien Eccles get up on there with Brian Scott. And he's like, yeah, do this weird Yahweh magic that we've made into this religion to colonize this. It's fascist. It's Nazi. It's bad. The deeper you go learning about all these connections and who these people are connected to and what they're trying to get people to do to open themselves up, to be a host, a vessel. That's what we are. We're vessels. And if you're not aware that you are that, I mean, you don't know what's running you. And people are like, oh, it's the end times. Oh, look at all these people doing bad things. Look at the church. Look at the pastors that have been caught doing horrible things. And it's because they've opened people as vessels. Lord of hosts. It's magic. And everyone's like, oh, they're all Freemasons. They're all Christians. All Freemasons are basically Christians, and they will not tell you that. And every Masonic book I've ever read, Christian to the core. Every Masonic temple, Bible right there. It's all very Christian, and it's dressed itself as this loving, kind thing, and they've hidden from you that it's the paradox of what comes looking like so kind and what would be love is secretly evil. And what they've got the world thinking is evil is people that are freeing themselves saying, look, this is not right. Like, something's wrong here. This is weird. Like,
a nun is holding a cross, and she's holding it and clenching it so hard she starts to bleed, and it basically breaks through her hand and pierces through her hand, and she starts bleeding. And then the possession of the alien completely overcomes her, and
Penny Kane. She worked with David Oates. Penny Kane realized that she said they were reptilians, were messing with her and tricking her, and she was catching them on back taped. She was doing reverse recordings and helping people find trauma they didn't know they had. And she was talking to the dead. And then these reptilian beings would like grab the people trying to talk to her on the other side, and they would trick her. And I have a clip, I'll share it, where she said she tried to pray to Jesus and that the reptilians wanted her to, that they used Jesus to get people to this state where they are able to be taken over. And Spielberg's showing you that, Spielberg. And she said they created that. They probably were running all that. Now look what we're studying with the Greek that people don't want to look at the mystery and what Jesus was doing, perverting the mystery, doing all this weird stuff with kids, washing the feet of little boys, weird stuff, dark, weird stuff. So Penny Kane said, you know, they want that. They want that medium. They want this egregore there because it's their creation. And it can get you taken over. And I always tell people, like, you think the minute when you were vulnerable, when you turned to Jesus, you think it was him that changed your life. It was you standing in your power and saying, I make a choice. I don't want to be this person anymore. I have a conviction in my heart. And this stuff goes so deep. And it's all connected. And people, I wish people could see. And just a couple years ago, I had no idea. Like 5 years ago, I had no idea how deep all this really was. When we say hidden things and occult, we're talking about the invisible world all around us, our psyche and world, and how much more real that world is.
Powers the Holy Spirit. So Steven Spielberg releasing Disclosure the same weekend that Oliver Tree, who also goes by the nickname Alien Boy, dies is seemingly a little too coincidental, because Alien Boy is also the name of one of Oliver Tree's hit songs. And that kind of ties into a lot of strange synchronicities that happened on the same day with the, White House event, with the fight that had all of these crazy numerology coincidences that happened at the same time, right? You had the fighter named Justin Gaethje who won his 33rd pro fight against Ilia Topuria, lost his 33rd round of his pro fighting career. It was the 33rd anniversary of the UFC, right? And obviously Trump and all of these individuals at the White House in DC are all Freemasons. So it kind of ties into the death of Oliver Tree. Also, Trump's birthday was Sunday. Oliver Tree's death was Sunday. So these things are kind of coincidentally coming together. But here's what's a little bit more strange is...
You know what's really weird is my daughter has the same birthday as Trump. And so does Boy George. And their birthday fell on the super new moon on Hecate's Depenenon. I hope I said that right. On Hecate's feast day. So there's all this weird stuff, but this guy, he really breaks a lot down, and exposing that Courtney Love's father managed the Grateful Dead, and then Kurt Cobain wore that shirt that said "Kill the Grateful Dead." I've been deep in that community. And I'm telling you, it's weirder than we could ever imagine. And you gotta watch these teachers on here that get up here and teach you to do these certain rituals and teach you about manifestation, because a lot of them are playing you. Either they're unaware, and you have to realize a lot of people, all Christians, I hate to say it, that they don't have any idea that they are being run by entities. And if you're not aware that there are trickster entities using you as a vessel, and you don't know they're real, how are you ever going to call them off of you or know these things? And it's just so deep. I could go on, but my channel, I like to share other people that are talking about this and how all of it connects. And so my channel is kind of like a hub of just sharing all these things, all these people, and all this information. Have a good day.